someone hacked the Twitter?
Oh yeah, the Anime Expo.
Oh, I can't believe it. How dare they?
Pretty huge. Someone fucked up. It's not even like a person, a bot hacked it. So now it's just spam tagging its like thousands of followers.
God, terrible. It's all the Instagram bots moved over to Twitter.
Oh, what a mess.
Those rat bastards. We can't get away from them.
Indeed, they heard Elon Musk was trying to buy it, so they decided to make a point.
Oh, well, yeah. He's buying it for, like, freedom of speech, though.
Oh?
Yeah, that's his whole thing, is he thinks Twitter is too restrictive about what, like, the guidelines.
That could be a whole other video.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Definitely could be. Because you and I use Twitter quite a bit.
Yeah. And if he's not satisfied with the way things are being limited, then that's a bit of a red flag.
Well, there's also not to get like too into it, we don't really talk politics on here that much, but also there's apparently a problem if he's not allowed to buy it, because then it's like a whole like political scandal with repressing freedom of speech and everything like that.
Elon Musk is trying to start
because
shit.
he also offered 20% more than the market value of Twitter to buy it.
Just so he can ruin it.
He offered like 41 billion, which in itself is a whole other thing. But but that's 20% on the markup.
For
so
Twitter.
Obviously, yeah, for Twitter. So obviously, if they were going to sell it to anyone, a 20% markup is an amazing deal. And so if they don't say yes, then it's a whole other thing. Like, there's good and bad reasons for buying it or for it going through and it not going through. So it's kind of like a win. It's like a lose-lose situation.
Indeed. They shouldn't do it. I'm against it. Fully.
You're against him buying it?
I am. Just based on, like... It depends on his idea of free speech. Because a lot of times that's just like code for I want to be racist on Maine.
Sure. Yeah, maybe this will be a discussion next another episode.
Yeah.
We'll let this one unfold. I didn't expect the anime bot turning into Elon Musk drama, but maybe this needs to be a whole other discussion now.
Yeah, indeed. All
right. Well, everybody, welcome back to episode 26 of Your Ridiculous.
2-minute opening.
Woohoo!
My name is Luke. I'm a little late on that. Woo. My name is Luke. I'm one of your hosts, and with me, as always, I have the insectoid wolf.
Wow.
I hate that one.
And we have our lovely recurring guest host, Rain, back with us.
I'm
Once
lovely
again.
this week. Lovely.
Yeah, I figured I'd stop the bullying.
Thank you. I
For
appreciate
just a
it.
bit.
Just a little bit. I need a break.
April is Stop the Bullying month, but just wait till we get to May. You're fucked.
Wow.
Turn it full force.
I can't wait. Bring it on.
You said, sounded like you said full porn.
No.
Like, all right, that's something else. If you didn't listen to last week, I don't even know why I say that, because I know you did.
Exactly.
Why are you going to listen to this one without last week?
Skipping around like a
They're
freak.
chronological for a reason. But last week, what did we talk about? We talked about Ranking of Kings.
Yeah.
How could I forget?
Obviously.
The most essential
Obviously. My boy Boji. And that was it. That was our whole episode, actually.
Yeah.
That was a long
Took
episode.
up the whole time.
That was a long episode, but it was important.
Indeed.
Well.
Showed the audience how terrible Rainy's opinions are.
Well.
And this week, we're going to be talking about In Space with Markiplier, a new... what is it? It's YouTube exclusive?
Yes.
Yeah, YouTube Red show.
Right, yeah, YouTube Red. And we'll also be talking about the Jujutsu Kaisen 0 movie.
Yeah.
Movie and manga.
Yeah.
A little bit of both.
They those two couldn't see it, but I saw it.
Right, well, yeah, we mentioned... I don't think we actually mentioned, but we'll get to that. We'll get to why we couldn't see it. But, starting us off, let's jump right into the episode. Wolf, what is In Space with Markiplier?
In Space with Markiplier is pretty much the third installment of Markiplier's shows of doing things with Markiplier. First it was a date with Markiplier, then it was a heist with Markiplier, and now we've got In Space with Markiplier. And it is just lovely. I quite enjoyed it. I was at work, but I was unsupervised that day, so I got to watch it when it premiered.
The best work days.
Yeah. It is a choose your own adventure style. All of his shows are choose your own adventure style. With like chaotic, absurd humor, with lots of like little bits of lore, Markiplier lore.
The lore!
Yeah!
The deep lore. First Fortnite lore, now Markiplier lore.
Ah!
That's really what the internet wants.
And yeah, it's about one playthrough for like one person was generally around like an hour to an hour and a half. I spent about 3.5 hours going through trying to get all the endings I could possibly get to.
Determined.
I know Rainey is a Markiplier fan, but Lucas is not, like, loosely. Like, he's not a super fan. Not into...
Yeah, I enjoy the content, but I don't watch it that often.
Yeah. What are you guys' thoughts on it?
I loved it.
Well, you liked it. You go first. I guess Rainey can go first.
Sorry, I got excited.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I loved Heist with Markiplier. I didn't really fully watch A Date with Markiplier until I did Heist with Markiplier because I wasn't even sure what that was or how to interact with the video at the time. Then I watched Heist with Markiplier, fell in love, so chaotic but so much fun. Being able to get involved from like home without really having to do anything but sit on the couch, watch and laugh and have fun. So when In Space with Markiplier came, I was super stoked because Mark constantly talks about how one of his interests and passions is space. Like, probably every other game he's talking about how much he's obsessed with space. And I was so excited. Oh, absolutely. Obsessed. And I think you could just tell the whole team had so much fun doing it. And it was just so cool to just kind of experience that again. I loved it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like I was on new YouTube again. Early YouTube again.
Yeah. Throwback.
Yeah. You're a big fan of space as is too, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I'm sure this one like was quite appealing beyond all the Markiplier
Absolutely. It was just fun. So much fun.
It's funny you mentioned the A Date with Markiplier. When it first came out, annotations still existed on YouTube for like everyone, but then they took them away and it kind of broke A Date with Markiplier.
Oh no.
But luckily now they've given him the power to continue using annotations.
Good.
I personally did not do Heist with Markiplier. I think I was out of the country at the time, so it just skipped past my radar. But he also did the Wharf Stash automated something. It was like a Five Nights at Freddy's style one with the Wharf Stash puppet.
Yeah. That
was hilarious. And I know you didn't get a chance to watch the streams, but in a bunch of the streams there are of course like lots of like tidbits and trailers to like go watch Space with Markiplier. And then he actually released like a normal gameplay video. And then at the end, it became a choose your own adventure, which led back into In Space with Markiplier.
Oh, the circles upon lore.
Yep.
It all circles back to In Space with Markiplier.
It does. Yeah. I did watch bits of his stream where he was watching the trailer 100 times in a loop, and that was hilarious.
Yeah.
What a
so
freak.
Funny. Lucas, what about you? What did you think?
So, like Wolf mentioned before, I'm not an avid viewer of his content, but I do like the majority of it when I actually watch it for whatever reasons, like this episode here. And I obviously didn't watch A Date with Markiplier or Heist with Markiplier, but this one was interesting. I don't think this form of interactive media, like choose your own adventure sort of thing, is for me. I was really distracted while watching it, thinking about like the choices and you know when my next choices and the meaning of it all and everything like that. I think I was just too focused on it. I wasn't able to like suspend my disbelief or anything and really just enjoy the content. I'm interested to go back and potentially do Heist with Markiplier because some of my favorite movies and like books and stuff are like heist novels and heist stories, so I think that one would grip me more than a space story would.
Right.
Overall, I did really like the humor was like pretty solid. It's it wasn't like fake or anything. At least from what I've seen, it's pretty standard Markiplier. So obviously, if you like his stuff, then I'm sure you like this. I enjoyed it. I really like the section about or the like 1920s mobster, black and white. I don't know if that. So I only did one playthrough or whatever, watch through, whatever you want to call it. So I don't know if that goes for if everybody gets that one, or if it's just like. I mean, I guess you could tell me. Is that on everyone or?
Yeah, not everyone gets that one. That one actually can put you on the path to like. In the end, you get to like the ending, but certain paths like cut out a bunch of the information. And,
sure, yeah,
and when
of
you
course.
put her in reverse, that sort of puts you at risk of ending up missing things because you're starting to goof around a little too much.
Yeah, and so I obviously my watch through got to the 1920s mobster, and I thought that was really, really funny. That was my favorite part.
Oh yeah.
But by quite a bit. I liked the. How the old characters in the black and white movies like step out and like talk to the audience and like audibly share their thoughts and everything like that. I think that's really, really classic, and I really enjoyed that. And it's also way out of left field.
Oh yeah,
like came out of nowhere.
Oh yeah,
and then that was like something that made me enjoy it even more. It's like, what the fuck is this bit doing here? It was so funny.
And then Lady Dimitrescu made an appearance.
Yeah.
It was great. So yeah. Overall, I did enjoy it. I just think the form of media isn't for me.
Right.
But like I said, I'm interested to maybe go back and watch Heist because I think that might grip me more. So we'll see.
Yeah, definitely do Heist. It's interesting because Heist had segments that were like between 2 and 4 minutes long. Like you knew you would have an option probably at the end of like 4 minutes. You'd be like, oh, okay, so this is a longer in-depth, so I'll probably be given an option. For this one, however, it was between like, there were some 2-minute ones and then there was also a 13-minute one. So the range between like where the story was taking you, there was so much more time to play with. So like you would have no clue what would happen within that time.
I think that's part of what bothered me.
Yeah.
It's like I was too focused on being ready or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I was just slightly distracted. But anyways.
Yeah. It's funny.
Wolf, what did you think?
I had a great time. Of course I did spend 3.5 hours straight on it. And like, it's the decision, I guess, trees were neat because sometimes you'd like, you see like, that one's 2 minutes. Clearly that's the wrong option. But that wasn't always the case.
Yeah.
And my first playthrough, I actually managed to get, like, the true ending for the most part.
Wow, look at you.
I know. Genius. And, in my playthrough, it's like, even in my first playthrough, I was getting all kinds of bits and pieces of lore. For my first one, I was a little silly at first, when I'm doing the initial tasks of, stopping the fire and sending her in. And the first time I sent someone in, you of course get the old lady, and it's like some random old lady, and like, okay. But then she comes back later as like some like cosmic CEO boss lady.
Yep.
And, there's so much to talk about.
That's so weird that you went that path first, because I actually went with taking care of like the air and stuff like that first. So when I went down that path, when I first met the old lady, I met her when she was telling me that I was fucking up and I need to stop goofing around. That was my first interaction with her. So then when I did go down the fire extinguisher route, I was like, send that bitch in. Nope.
Yeah, I got that part back as I was going through all the endings. That was hilarious. And in my playthrough, when you put it in reverse, it automatically sends you into like the old tiny times. And there's one ending where you like fire rockets and everything into the wormhole, and then it puts on like a hat and it shoots you back. That was great. And it was interesting getting the like, what is it? 1980s, 70s. What is it? What's the time?
Oh, I think it's like
you.
1920s.
1920s.
It's pretty early.
The way everyone's narrating their thoughts, when I then went back and did it the normal way, where I wouldn't be able to hear everyone's thoughts, it's interesting seeing all the way things could have went wrong. Like when Warg talks to you, and he's like threatening.
I hated that Warg bit.
And then he's like devastated that you guys don't want to eat the food. And he thinks to himself that about the galactic agreement of peace and how you can fuck it up by letting Mark attack him. It was great overall. I actually noticed throughout the whole experience, everyone has like pins and badges on their sweaters, or not sweaters, on their jumpsuits.
They changed
some
sweaters.
The sweaters.
My space sweater, my jumper.
Hold on, I think I took some notes of the ones I made note of. Let me pull them up.
Let's hear them. We have to hear them now.
Of course.
Normally I do stuff like this.
There are a couple ones near the end when you've got like when you've got like the Warstash narrator who's like fast forwarding you through things. Markiplier Mark is wearing like a moon badge all of a sudden, and that moon symbol is also seen with the old lady, and she's kind of related to the Galactic Federation, and that is that scene shortly after you get transported back. It's the section where Darkiplier shows up and gives like, open the door. That section is the only time Markiplier wears that moon pin. And I don't know what it means, but I did notice it. And then another time, in the We've Been Here Before scene, I don't know if you guys got them, it's when you and Mark are in a room. And it's one of the endings that imply that maybe it's Mark who is the antagonist, so to speak. Mm-hmm. You try to move forward, and it's the first time like it is noticeable that you don't have any power on the ship. You can't open doors or anything, and you don't notice at first because Mark's showing you around. He's leading the way, so it covers up the fact that you don't have any control over this ship. In reality. And in that one, he's not wearing any pins. He's not wearing the Chica pin, and he's not wearing the pin that, like, marks him as engineer. And I think that has to be, like, significant somehow, especially taking away the Chica pin.
Yeah.
Chica is his dog, in case you don't know that, Lucas.
He's so confused.
Yeah, like, overall, the story...
Sorry, I was reading something. I was distracted.
And the other things that imply that Markiplier is the true villain this whole time. In some playthroughs, you can also be the villain by, like, fucking around too much, because you're going through it thinking you're getting these, like, free redos. And when you get free redos, you're like, oh, let me try all this silly shit. And they're not free redos. Mm-hmm. You're just switching universes every time. And every time you do it, you're killing everyone in the universe.
Everybody. I think my favorite...
I think some of the, like... Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. I think my favorite character of Mark's is the old man. Because he keeps saying, I must not be too fast for you. Or am I? And he keeps attacking him.
My favorite sequence.
I didn't realize that was Mark at first.
Really?
I'm like, yeah, I didn't notice. It took me a second.
Fun fact, his old appearance is modeled off his actual father.
That's so
really?
Cool. Mr. Fishbuck.
But yeah, very early on, you can, if you do everything right, in that situation, Mark has been sucked out into space. So it's the redo before I think it's like the second redo, because in the third redo, you save him from getting shot out into space. And that second redo, when he's gone, and if you do everything correctly, you get an ending, you kind of get the happiest ending. Everyone survives, you make it to the planet, but because you've already kind of started, a different version of you has started this wormhole issue. When you eventually pass away of old age, you get looped back again. And I believe, I'm not sure if everyone gets this, but there's a sequence where, like, the oxygen gets low and you start to see, like, writings and pictures all over the wall, like, don't wake the captain, don't let the captain out, all of that.
One also said, don't open the door,
yeah.
and I think that was referring to Darkiplier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Darkiplier sequences is interesting, too, because that's one of the ones where it will take you to the real ending, but you will skip everything in between, so you don't really know what's going on.
Mm-hmm. It's funny that if you get to Wug during one of the Darkiplier loops, it's Wug, like, you decide, you say, no, don't open the door, and then Wug's like, this is my ship, I'll open the door, and you open the door anyways. What the fuck?
Wug's the captain here.
Yep.
Wug was in charge all along.
That reminds me, there's one of the sequences where you think everything's going wrong, but then, like, I don't know what happens, but suddenly nothing goes wrong. Everything goes perfectly fine. And of course, you're all like, something's gonna go wrong. You know, we're gonna get looped back in the wormhole again, put out the fire, do this, do that, but nothing happens. Everything's perfectly fine. And at the end of that sequence, everybody's holding their own mug. And on the mug is printed, like, different lines and, like, themes that happen throughout the whole series. That one was really cool.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys got that. There's a sequence where, like, you make Mark do all, like, the things to fix the ship, but then of course you take credit for it, and you end up in like, you get to a planet and Mark's like, you're a slave, he does everything, and he's like slowly going insane until he eventually just like murders you, suffocates you with a pillow.
That's the way to go.
I did love this sequence where, like, you start getting into the habit of putting out the fire, fixing the air, going down the hall, fixing the asteroids and stuff like that. You start getting this habit that eventually you're just like, the captain's just dragging Mark and throwing him into the rooms. Like, do it, get it done, next, get it done. And Mark's like, what the fuck?
Captain, no! Did you guys get the sequence where Mark explains where he got the wormhole?
No.
Yeah, that one was surprisingly easy to miss. I got it. Mm-hmm. You have to show up to the Galactic Federation. I think Wug drops you off. You have to show up without, like, putting it in reverse or causing any other kind of chaos. The lady comes and meets you, and she's like talking to Mark, and she's like, you guys have made the biggest wormhole ever, and we need you to turn it off. And Mark's like, oh, I don't know how. And she's like, oh, well, how did you make it? And he's like, oh, actually, I just found it floating around in space. And so I hooked it up to my rocket and turned it on.
And she's like, you just found it in the middle of space. And he's like, yeah.
And even though you're like high-fiving and laughing, having a good time.
She's like, that's so great. Wow, you did this thing. Yeah. The whole time she's like freaking out.
And then I think that's interesting. I think that's why it connects the third character. I never got her name. I keep forgetting it. But like, she was like the alien, sort of. And she had like the steampunk aesthetic to her. And she was...
with the eye.
Yeah, with the eye. She was getting arrested at the start of her... That was her introduction.
Oh, yeah, I had her.
I think... And I think that... She's experienced with this wormhole technology. And I think that is what makes her suspect. It was even one of her pieces of technology, because we just found it floating around in space.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's the one who, like, tries to go through and fix everything and do everything right so we can exit the wormhole, but despite her best efforts, there's something more going on. And she points out that Markiplier has, like, designed the ship to fail almost. There's all these self-destruct sequences, all these kill everyone on the ship sequences.
Yeah, it said there were like 30 self-destruct sequences and one repair function.
Like, alright, that's sus. And then in the end, at the very end, when you're in the void and everyone starts appearing, the girl, she looks at Mark and she's like, you did this? Because this whole time everyone thinks you, the captain, did this because you're the captain. But apparently that's just a title. Mark's been the one in control the whole time. And it seemed, I'm not sure what I guess he, instead of turning it off, I think he just tries to break it again. He tries to trap himself and the captain in that void. And then, yeah. Oh, there's so much to touch on. I don't even know what I'm forgetting. This is Wolfie from the future. Wanted to add that also, if you get the 1920s style narration version of events, you hear Mark narrate that he secretly wants to destroy the universe. Essential thing that I forgot.
I was surprised how detailed it all is. And like the extent that they went to make all the different sequences and things within those sequences like super detailed and extensive.
Yeah. Oh, I remembered 2 more endings.
It was impressive.
There's a meta ending. I forget the conditions to get it, but like you like end up in like the real world set where everything was filmed. And you're like walking around confused as shit because suddenly your existence was a lie apparently. And then like you open a door and there's Markiplier in like those like actor seats getting his makeup done and everything. He's kind of a dick. And then it's like I forget how that sequence ends, but yeah, it was a weird one that like steps out of reality. And there's another sequence where everyone dies but like the ship is still whole and such. Mm-hmm. I think if you
it's
try
just
to
like you in the darkness.
Yeah, you try to call the crew too many times and you're just left alone to float in space forever. Which is like the least violent somehow, but most tragic.
Yeah.
Lovely show. And then there's a part 2 coming.
Yes, I am excited.
Part 2?
Yeah, it's coming.
Yeah, in 21 days
or
something like that. Maybe it's like 17
Wow.
now.
Yeah. 21 days from the premiere date.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a little while, like a week or so.
It's a coming.
Yeah. Can't wait.
Yep.
Overall, as we normally do, what would you give it for a rating?
9 out of 10.
I would probably give it
What about
like
you, Rain?
an 8. An 8 out of 10. I actually kind of think that Heist with Markiplier was a little more exciting.
Ooh.
But In Space with Markiplier is still just as fun, still just as exciting. But I think it's because In Space with Markiplier has such a set theme and set storyline.
Yeah.
That's what makes it different from Heist with Markiplier. But still just as fun.
I think also In Space with Markiplier has a bit more. I think the story, the true story, is more hidden. And that's intentional, but it can also make it a bit difficult if you don't go through everything like I did. Even I
what
went
about you,
through
Lucas?
Lucas.
Mm-hmm.
Me, probably a 5.
No, choose your own.
It's because he
Wasn't
only
bad,
did
wasn't-
one run!
Yeah.
Hey, listen, it just didn't grip me.
No Goosebumps choose your own
Mm-hmm.
adventures for you.
If I'm rating it just off the like 1920s or whatever mobster scene, it's like an 8 because that was great. But as a whole, the experience was just like not amazing for me. So it's a 5.
Try watching Heist. Just do a couple. You don't have to sit there for like 3 hours. Just do like a couple decisions in Heist, and I think you will like that one.
Like I said, I think the Heist one would interest me more anyways. So we'll see. I'm happy to. I liked it enough to try other ones and probably watch his part 2. But we'll see. It's not anything I would go back to.
Yeah.
Although I don't know how much replayability these have.
That's fair.
Probably not, unless you're trying to get every
3.5
100%
hours
like Wolf.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Well, it's not like you're gonna watch it again and pick the same results.
I'm here to get this exact experience just one more time, just to get my fix.
Yeah. Well, all right. I think that about wraps up Markiplier in Space.
Make sure you check it out on YouTube Red. It is free.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, tell Mark you sent me.
This is a real massive passion project for him. He's been really putting a lot to get people to watch it, because I believe not a lot of people watched Heist with Markiplier.
Oh,
That's
terrible.
surprising to me. Yeah.
They were all too busy trying to date him.
I don't blame them.
So.
All right. We're going to continue on with this episode talking about another piece of movie. Well, I guess Mark's not anime, but anyways, moving on to Jujutsu Kaisen 0, the Jujutsu Kaisen movie that came out a little while ago at this point, but
it's maybe a little over a month.
Yeah, still in theaters in some places.
Is it?
Not well.
It's not even in theaters in
still,
LA.
Oh, maybe it isn't in theaters anymore. I thought I saw something, but maybe it changed. Anyways, Wolf, tell us what it is.
Jujutsu Kaisen 0 is originally it was like a one shot / prologue to the main Jujutsu Kaisen series, written by the creator Akutami. It is the one shot that got her greenlit to do the full Jujutsu Kaisen project, and it is set same word of course. It's set I think maybe like a year or two before, where the main character Youre, his childhood crush died horribly and became a curse that now is attached to him, and Gojo takes an interest in him because of course the Jujutsu Kaisen Council wants Yuta dead. Same reason they want you.
They always want someone dead.
But
they're always trying to kill teenagers.
Must be a thing. Gojo brings him to the school, becomes his mentor, and stuff plays out. The
story evolves.
It was an interesting movie. You can, as I was watching it in the theaters, it definitely didn't feel like a movie. It definitely felt like an extended episode of an anime. It was beautifully animated, movie quality, but the way things pieced together, the progression of the story, very much, okay, we're done with this scene, on to the next. The movie also doesn't explain a single thing, so...
Yeah, you have to go into... Well, the manga doesn't either.
Interesting.
Right, so... a little bit of backstory. Rainey and I were going to go watch it, but the only day both of us had available was the day that our area stopped playing it. Mm-hmm. So obviously we ended up reading the manga, and Wolf watched the anime. Definitely, or the movie, sort of it. Definitely recommend watching it rather than reading it, because it was pretty stale reading it. It's typical manga. It's a good story and everything, and the characters are obviously good. But I imagine it's much more exciting. This particular story, much more exciting.
Yeah, I can see that. In the movie, I also read the manga, the normal manga, and there's a weapon. It's like a 3-way nunchuck, and that in particular, I was just excited to see it in motion, to see how they would do it.
Yeah,
because in the manga, they're this is everyone it's a really good weapon. Everyone fucking hates it because it's a hassle to handle.
Is that Maki Zinen's weapon?
Eventually, it's something she eventually picks up.
Yeah, I think she has it in the actual show.
Yeah, I think in the second core when they're fighting Hanami.
Right. Yeah, she has it for that, and she beats ass with it. She fucks him up.
It's lovely.
Yeah. Overall, I thought the story was pretty good.
I think it's probably a little lackluster if you don't know about everything.
Yeah. I feel like that's the case with a lot of different adaptions and stuff. You need to, for specific animes and just different what's the not genre, but groups, what, I can't think of the word. Anyways, I feel like you're not gonna go and watch the movie if you don't really know anything about it. That's kind of on you. But if you know stuff about it, it was really cool to, especially seeing the characters Panda and Maki and Toge from the other Tokyo High. Seeing them again was really cool because they were underused in the first season, I think, especially Tilly. He was awesome. It was so cool to see him again. The curse user that was like uses curse speech.
Yeah.
And Panda again. We got to see Panda.
Panda's always good to see.
So, yeah, it was really cool. But I also definitely agree with you that if you don't know anything about it, you're gonna be fucking confused.
I think if you saw the anime, you'd be in all right position. But then there was stuff in it that the anime hasn't even covered yet, so it kind of like sort of lowered the stakes a bit. But yeah, it could.
Really?
There's so you Geto, of course. He's the main sort of antagonist, and his little group. It's I'm not sure if the manga goes over, but the movie, I believe might have been one of the added scenes, shows how he met the two girls whose names I wrote down, Mimiko and Nanako. I don't believe they've showed up in the anime yet, but they were the two little girls that he had actually saved them from, like, they lived in like some random village, and so in the cities and such, everyone kind of accepts the magic bullshit, but outside of the cities, it's the reaction to magic is pretty much the same reaction most, like, religious groups would give it now, that it's, like, devilish, it's bad, it's evil, it's all that. So, Mimiko and Nanako, they could see spirits, they're basically Jujutsu sorcerers, but they were being, like, abused by their entire village and locked up in a cage. And the village actually called on Geto to, like, come exorcise the little girls, and Geto sees the ways the little girls have been treated, and he slaughters that entire village and takes the two girls in.
Damn.
Yeah. The manga and sort of the prologues really gets into, like, Geto's ideology versus Gojo's ideology, because they're both, like, top of the food chain. Best.
They're both like special grade sorcerers.
Prodigies, essentially. That's the word I was looking for. And they end up taking two very different, I guess, methods to how they see the world and view the world. Geto believes that anyone who's not a Jujutsu sorcerer is worthless. He doesn't believe that it's the strong's job to protect the weak, so he is inherently against how things are being run. While Gojo, he believes the weak should be protected. The weak and the non-Jujutsu sorcerers.
Yeah, Gojo wants, like, more balance in the world. You need both strong and the weak, where Geto just thinks, like, if you can't survive on your own, you don't deserve to survive.
Ooh.
And so, yeah, they don't talk about that much in the actual anime. At least for season 1. I guess there's no season 2, but in the anime. And so, yeah, it was really cool to see more of them and kind of their divide, because they not grew up, but they were in the same class.
Yeah.
Like, when they were, like, in Jujutsu
They are
High.
each other's best friends.
Right. And same with, it was cool to see, what's his name? Nanami, Kento Nanami, again, because they were all three together. And so, right, it was really cool to see how they work differently in their ideologies and methods and beliefs and everything. It's just like, it was cool.
Love to see it. Well, it's one of the things I really have enjoyed.
And of course,
Kaisen.
Yeah, it slaps.
We all know how much
if you haven't
black and white stories.
Right, if you haven't checked out Jujutsu Kaisen, the anime at least, definitely go look at it. It was one of the first I actually started with, off Wolf's recommendation. And it's really, really good. It's a top tier one to start with, or even just watch now if you haven't. You know, stop watching Attack on Titan and watch this.
I guess I'll go through
better.
the movies real quick. We've been talking about everyone except Yuta, and he's like the main character.
He's a pleb. So
Yuta, as I said earlier, his childhood girlfriend became a curse. In the world of Jujutsu Kaisen, it's incredibly easy to curse others or become curses. Even if they're not even born of malice, because her curse was born from love. Though you later find out that it's Yuta who cursed her, and not the other way around.
Oh.
Yeah,
Dun, dun,
not
dun.
like intentionally because he was like a child, but his strong feelings
it was like
trapped her soul on the earth.
Yeah, he's like loved her so much that it like caused negative energy to form around him, and then it cursed her like soul
And made her
trapped
the strongest curse to have ever existed.
Yuta, the biggest simp alive.
Everyone's going about it wrong. They just gotta harness the power of simping. Fuck all this other stuff.
Yuta took a page out of Rain's book and went horny on Main for the whole manga.
All right, guys, thanks for listening to our podcast this week.
Yeah, it was interesting to find out that she's like the strongest curse to exist.
Completely born from accident.
And she's just walking around with some guy.
Some guy.
They later find out that like he can kind of control her.
Yeah, it's technically kind of like controlled her from the beginning because he is the one that created her. But he was such a pussy that she was just completely going out of control. She was like brutally mutilating people.
Yeah, any sort of slight you did to Yuta, you probably got your soul ripped out of your body.
Shoved into someone else.
Just eviscerated.
I
like that, like, obviously, he didn't really realize what she was or what the curse was or anything, and the council of, like, you know, Jujutsu sorcery is always, their answer is just always just like, yeah, kill this
I read of
it. And then Gojo's like, whoa, hold on. Maybe we can use him.
I think especially in that situation, they didn't have the means to kill him or Rika.
Oh yeah, no, if they attempted to actually kill him, she would have went fucking
eliminated all. And then there would be no sorcerers.
Yeah, then we would have got like a true real fight with her and Gojo, and that would have been amazing.
Thrilling.
Can you imagine just like those two completely ripping each other a new one?
They're just fucking each other up.
The strongest Jujutsu sorcerer versus the strongest curse.
And the whole world's just disintegrating around them.
Yeah, it's just like ashes and dust left behind in their wake.
But yeah, thrilling. I can't wait for season 2. Ghetto's one of my characters of interest.
Yeah, he's becoming more interesting. The like along with this, and just as you progress within the actual season 1.
Oh man, just wait till you guys find out everything going on with him.
Right, because you've read past like season, like you've read the.
I'm
manga.
a little behind now, but I'm
obviously
pretty
there's. Right, you're obviously well past.
There's
like,
a joke I've been dying to make, but I can't make it until you guys find out.
Oh my god.
Well, Rain's got to watch season 1 to begin with.
I know, I have a lot of work. Got a lot of work ahead of me.
Oh yeah, it is very good. It's very, very good, and the characters are really excellent. Not only in JJK 0, but also in season 1. And not only like the main characters, but the villains are really well written too. Oftentimes, studios put in so much work or writers in general just put in so much work into their main characters being likable that you end up getting shitty, half-assed villains. But these ones, I wouldn't necessarily say relatable, but you can feel, you know, compassion and understanding towards them. And so they're really interesting.
In the future, and in the manga, there's a section of scenes where Sukuna and Jogo actually interact. And watching their interaction and really seeing Sukuna's place in this world was thrilling. It's really puts things into perspective. A lot of people, so it's like a common trope in anime that the main character has like this demon inside of them that helps them power up, and they start like an asshole, and then they eventually like come around to the main character's side to be like their support. That's not gonna happen with Sukuna, and I really like that.
Yeah. Well, what do you think is gonna? I guess you know.
You want to hear a bit?
A little bit, not too much spoilers.
So Yuji, through a series of events, he gets access to a couple more fingers, and he consumes them.
Right, as you do.
They are consumed. And of course, Sukuna gets that temporary control he gets every time Yuji eats a finger. And
right,
he wastes no time. He kills a lot of people in that short amount of time for no reason except that he could. Oh, and then there was one he did. There was another section of people he killed to help Fushiguro, since he's still interested in Fushiguro overall.
Interesting. Well, yeah, because Sukuna said Fushiguro was pretty interesting when they like fought each other, when he had ripped out Yuji's heart, and he's like, you have a lot of potential, you just don't use it and everything.
He's like,
and so I'm interested to see more about like the relationship between those
terrifying.
two. Yeah, I would bet.
Take that potential out, bitch. So I'm trying to see him. If Yuji dies, Sukuna dies too, right? Well,
right, and so
in a specific situation.
Well, sure, he obviously still survives a bit with his fingers and everything. He could get a new host, but like definitely part of him dies. You kind of can relate it to like the Horcruxes from Harry Potter, where they trap Voldemort traps his soul in these different pieces, and he essentially can't be killed until you wipe out all these pieces. And so the comparison is really similar, which I think is pretty cool. But my point was, it's surprising that he just goes apeshit and kills all those people at first, because I'm thinking it's like, oh yeah, punish Yuji, kill him, and then Sukuna's free. But that's not actually the case. And so it's kind of interesting. This isn't really too much of a spoiler for Rainy, but is that using his that's not using his deal with Yuji, right? Where he can like get 1 minute of free control? Or is it? I don't remember if they used that in season 1 or not.
I forget the exact rules of it. I think
because it was, he's like, I'll bring you back to life if you give me 1 minute of free control to do whatever.
No, it was not related to that. I remember that specifically.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure if he used it or not. I can't remember.
Yeah, so he hasn't used that yet.
Okay.
It was kind of like a loophole, because he did get free reign, but it's just because Yuji was out.
Well, yeah, because he always does that when he gets his finger. Yeah, he always kind of like comes back into control.
And you know how, so season 1, the plan is to like team up with Sukuna. That's like Mahito's, Chogo's, and Nanami's plan. Put Trap Gojo, team up with Sukuna, fuck bitches. Yeah,
get money.
Yeah, it turns out
free ball.
Sukuna doesn't want to play with others at all.
Yeah, he just wants to be number one.
Everyone
curse
is
spirit, which he
sure in for a shock. All the villains are in for a shock.
Oh,
when that happened.
Yeah, they're gonna get a rude awakening. Rika, is she stronger than Sukuna?
Ooh, well, she was deemed the strongest, so yes.
That's kind of weird that they put that, because so this takes place before season 1,
but the fingers were still out
season there. Right. So the fingers are still out there because they say in season 1 that since like not the beginning of time,
since
but
his birth,
very long ago. Right. Yeah. Sukuna has always been the strongest, will be the strongest, and there's no comparison. So it's interesting that JJK0 kind of inserts this new character that is now deemed the strongest.
I think it's,
and I'm wondering if it's like the strongest not counting the Cursed King, or if it does count the Cursed King.
I think she was the strongest, and if she still existed when Yuji's arc was put into motion, she would be the thing to take care of him. But since she was released,
you think so?
She no longer exists. So she was the strongest, is the better realization.
Yeah. It also could have been just like sort of a semantic thing because they're not going to count Sukuna without Yuji being the host. So Sukuna's not really a factor at that point. So it could have been that. Now that I think about it, which would make some sense. But I wouldn't have mind seeing like a fight between those two as well. Like her at her full strength and Sukuna at like full strength.
Not that. I mean, as a man, that'd be something.
Oh.
Because Geto, Geto pretty much on the same level of Gojo at that time. And Gojo feels he has the confidence to take down Sukuna. But Geto could not defeat full power Rika.
Right. Well, do you think Gojo could?
He could, but that's just because of how his power works.
Yeah, because he's fucking bullshit. Yeah,
he's a bunch of bullshit. He is outside of the rules.
He is literally the most OP written character. It's not even like plot armor. It's just like he just is OP. Like the definition of OP. He could do no wrong.
A TikTok showed up explaining in depth exactly how he's broken, and it's like what was it? It was essentially like the way full power works is you have a cake, and that's so you can either use 100% of the cake or 5% of the cake. What Gojo does, he has the cake, and he takes a piece of it, and he gets 100% of that piece, but that can't be properly quantified, so it just winds up being immensely powerful.
He just every single attack is him using everything he's got in the tank, and then the tank simultaneously filling up again out of nowhere. It's just unlimited supply.
No stopping that train.
And that's not even counting his domain expansion, which is infinitely more bullshit. If you didn't think this guy could become more bullshit,
you're in it. That's it. You're done. You're defeated.
Yeah. I won't go. Never mind. I'll save that for another discussion. Hopefully, do we know when we're getting season 2?
It'd be cool if it was soon.
I know. I'm so excited. Maybe I should. Maybe it's time to rewatch JJK season 1.
It says 2023, so probably next winter, or ideally next summer, but latest next winter. Right.
Well, indeed. It's worth the wait.
It's gonna slap.
That just.
Oh my god.
That just gives is so. Obviously, you've you said read the manga. Is that section of what potentially could be season 2 really good?
Yeah.
Really?
Really,
nice.
Really turns things up.
Ooh.
Yeah. Well, the end is already getting really good, or not getting really good, but the end of season 1. The last couple episodes are really good, especially what they're planning to do with Gojo.
Where did it end again? Season 1?
The end was... They stole... Oh, no. There was the big fight with Minhara. With
the two womb curses.
Yeah.
Speaking of them, my favorite character, Chozo, he is one of those womb curses. His character arc. He's the one with the pigtails and the stripe over his nose. He's the only surviving brother of the 3 summoned womb painting curses.
Oh, right. Yeah. That's your favorite character?
Yes. And I can't tell you a thing about him.
Well, I'll find out. Yeah, I don't think I have a favorite character, but they're just all so good. It's hard to choose.
Him and Nobara.
I like I said, I don't like Nobara. No. Actually, I shouldn't say that. I don't like Nobara's introduction, but she gets exponentially better the longer the season goes. She gets a lot better. Great character arc, development, I should say. She gets better and better every episode for me. I think I really like Toge. He's so funny. I really like him, and I think he's really interesting. I also... Oh, what's the guy who talks about Jennifer Lawrence's ass every episode?
That's Toto. Yeah.
Oh, it is.
What's your type?
He is really good.
Tall girls with a fat ass.
Yeah. He judges, Rain, he judges your quality based on what kind of girl you like, and he says Jennifer Lawrence is like the best answer. She's like, she's got a fat ass.
That's amazing.
I really wish I could know what Jennifer Lawrence responds to that is. If she's ever seen it.
Yeah, maybe someone snuck it to her
so
at
funny.
least once.
Oh, guaranteed. Gotta be like her friends have shown it to her. Or someone's tweeted at her or something. I just wish I could have gotten her response. It'd be so funny. It sounds kind of disrespectful, but I think it's more out of fun.
He doesn't say it the way
like they don't. Oh no, not at all. It's they say it actually like pretty respectfully, all things considered. But like, you know, when you take it to us, it's like, oh yeah, she's got a fat ass. Yeah, it's really good. Anyways, I think he might be actually my favorite character. He's really funny. Yeah, I thought just like he gets so annoyed at all his classmates. He's like, "Stop talking to me, or I'm gonna kill you."
And he like powers up at like the thought of this like idol he's obsessed with. I got places to be, you guys. I gotta go shake her hands and let's.
He's also like quite the simp.
The true power is simping.
It's literally simping. Both like takeaways from season 1 and movie 0 are simping is OP. But alright, if you haven't checked out I guess either JJK movie 0 or season 1, highly recommend.
Watch season 1 first, of course.
Very, very excellent. If you want to understand anything, watch season 1. Very good. The animation is really good. Voice acting is great. Story is good. So definitely one to watch if you haven't already. But I'm sure you have. It's pretty popular. Mm-hmm. But now moving later on towards wrapping up. Rain, you have a question for us?
I do.
Lay it on us.
This week, so excited. What was your worst or first rage quit from a game?
Quite the question.
Yep.
Wolf, why don't you start us off?
That's right. So I think my first rage quit. So there's this game called The Long Dark, and it's like a survival camping horror game.
I've heard this story.
And there's like a story mode and there's a challenge mode. And I was doing a challenge mode where you had to like stock up so much supplies inside your bunker in 30 days because the storm was coming. And it was going so well. I had been playing for like maybe 8 or 9 hours straight. And I suddenly got fucked. My RNG. I was walking through the snow. I knew what to walk. I was carrying a bunch of stuff, so I was moving real slow. And that fucking wolf spawns. And I'm like, I can see my house, my base of operations. But I can't run fast enough to get there because the wolf is like next to me. Like there's a sidewalk, there's the wolf on the other sidewalk.
Mm-hmm.
And the wolves fuck you up.
It sure does. So it gets me once, and I have a knife on hand, so I stab it, and it runs away. And so now I'm like hauling ass trying to get to my house. But then the wolf recovers, and it beats my ass again, and I die, and it was all gone, all of it. And I think it was maybe 2 a.m, and I just was livid. I had to go take a walk. I was that mad. And then I didn't touch it again for like a year.
Oh my god.
You were too far along to continue any further.
Fucked me. I was going so well. One fucking wolf.
Oh, that's tragic. Rain, what about you?
I have a couple instances.
Also, pretty tragic that you got.
I know, that was the worst part.
Be embarrassed.
All right, Rain. What about you?
I have a couple times that I've rage quit or definitely freaked out. I love the Halo series, absolute favorite. But whenever it came to the Flood, specifically in Combat Evolved, I would freak the fuck out because, and this was years ago, this was like over a decade ago. At the time, I didn't know how to manage my ammo. I was like going in guns blazing, everyone's gonna fucking die, no problem. It is a problem, however, when the game only gives you limited ammo specifically for a shotgun and a handgun and then throws you into the Flood.
Right.
Fucking bullshit, first off.
You just gotta not spray and pray.
I would get angry. So of course I'd reload and then use all of my ammo immediately because I'm angry and then get wrecked again.
A never-ending cycle.
Absolutely. By my own bidding, my own creation. Ended up killing me.
Just don't be bad.
I know. And then whenever I played SWAT, I love SWAT. That's probably my favorite game mode for multiplayer and online playing. But I did get my shit rocked. And it sucked when you would go against somebody who was on like a streak of like 30-something headshots in one game. Oof. And they just keep going and going and going. And then you're on the opposite team. Fucking sucks.
Rubbing salt in the wound.
Freak out.
And then everyone's yelling at each other because this one person's carrying the whole team.
Awful. Treason.
Yeah, everybody like. I've had lots of Overwatch arguments, rage quits over in the exact situation.
Or like where it's like the Smite teammates, and it's always just like, don't talk to them. I
gotta. Listen, especially when they start shit talking me, I'm not gonna take that.
Oh, it's so funny. Speaking of Halo, I think I brought this up before. Did you ever play Halo 1?
I think I did years ago. So long ago.
One of the most OP weapons in video game history ever was Halo 1's pistol.
Yes.
Yeah, you could, if you headshot someone, it was an insta-kill if you, like, hit them. No matter where you were, you could snipe them across the map.
Amazing.
And if you hit them in the head, it killed them.
I guess that's accurate.
Sweet.
It was, a little bit, yeah, but it was kind of OP. It was kind of bullshit. But it made, like, 1v1ing and fighting and stuff pretty cool. Yep. It was really funny. Broken as fuck though, and now at least the last time I played Halo, the pistol was shit.
Nerfed it.
Nerfed it into oblivion.
They've erased their history.
So I don't have many rage quit moments, unfortunately.
Wait,
I'm pretty calm when playing games.
Wait, were you around? And this was years ago. Were you around when we would play Minecraft, and it would be like all of us would get on? It would be people that we went to high school with all get on one map.
I was around for some of them.
And it would be creative mode because select people would keep burning and blowing up other people's
homes. Oh, yeah, I was around for those.
And make everyone else rage quit.
Oh, yeah. We had a particular friend who liked to, like, use TNT and, like, lava and
it would be
but it was even worse
after being on the map and creating things.
Oh yeah, it was terrible. And the worst part is he could do it to you, but then he would quit if you did it to him.
Oh, get so mad.
I'd have to drive over to his house.
He would get so tilted. Terrible. Other than that, it was fun to play though.
Set him on fire.
Definitely.
That was pretty rough.
Yeah.
I do remember those. I'm sure everybody has someone like that. The griefers that you can't actually grief back.
Yep.
So I don't have that many like rage quit moments. In fact, I play video games to relax. So I'm pretty mellow during them. Mine is less of like a full rage quit, but one that was just like, I don't know what the fuck happened to me. And so I'm playing Skyrim. My first playthrough, which we talked about in a previous episode, and one of the dragons comes down from the sky that you have to fight and kill and everything like that. And so it comes down. It's probably like 3 to 5 hits away from dying. Like, it's really weak, right? And it's in an open field. And I'm about to hit one of the final blows on it. And immediately I get fucking curb stomped by something and instantly die. I was full health. I had just healed, full health, got literally like curb stomped or back kicked and died immediately. I'm like, what the fuck happened? I had no idea. That's the worst kind. And oh yeah, it was terrible. And it was annoying because like I'm at the part where the dragons are like still kind of a challenge for me, right? Like I have to spend a lot of time to kill them and a lot of shit. Gotta heal up and everything. And so I just healed up and got fucking one tapped by I don't know what. And so it was on the Switch, so I recorded it. Turns out one of my arrows, like across the field, hit a fucking mammoth. And the giants don't like it when you attack their mammoths. So this fucking huge behemoth runs across the fucking field and kicks me into oblivion. And one tapped me and I died. And I'm like, what the fuck? I still have that clip. Maybe I'll post it when I'll put it on Twitter so people can see.
Finding out what happened, even better. The odds.
Oh yeah. It was awful. I'm like, what the fuck?
There was another clip.
At first I thought it glitched.
Oh my god. There was another clip that you shared where you were just like adventuring and like, so for those of you who don't play Skyrim, you are able to set what would be considered booby traps on the ground by casting a spell, and it would stay there. And as soon as you walk and get near the spell, you'd either blow up, catch on fire, something would happen. Lucas sent a clip of him adventuring peacefully and then just fucking destroyed immediately.
Yeah, imagine like you're walking down like a street and then literally you step on a landmine and instantly die. Yep. That's literally what happened to me. Yep. I'm walking across and I find this like cool shrine type thing. I walk towards it and I blow it.
Yep.
It almost got me a second time. Because this one had multiple traps. It was like a pentagram shape, so there were multiple ones that you could step on, and it almost got me a second time. And there's a funny video of me like shooting different things at it to see what triggers the explosion, and I finally found out because I was too close and it killed me again. It was tragic.
Oh man! Lost all the snowberries.
Oh, even worse.
No, don't worry. We put those away. That's what I bought the house. That's what I bought the house for.
Nice.
Yeah, I need those. I put down so much stuff to be able to take those with me. All right, let us know on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube comments, wherever else you can comment, what your first or most memorable rage quit was. We'd love to hear about them.
Yeah.
And Wolf, why don't you wrap up the episode? Take it away.
Wolf taking things away. Thank you for watching episode 26 of You're Ridiculous. We hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, smack that subscribe button, hit that bell, or make sure you turn that plus into a check. You can follow us on all our social medias. The main one, ridiculous_cast on Instagram and Twitter, especially on Instagram is where you'll find Rainy. You can follow Lucas's personal 7 Angry Wasp with an E, or you can follow me on Rainbow Wolf without the W, both on Twitter. We hope to see you again next week. Everybody say goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.